Hello and welcome to Saguaro Spotlight. I'm your host, Deanne Kincaid. Today we're going to talk about the bike share businesses. In late 2017, these color-coded dockless bikes first appeared in Scottsdale. There are three competing bike share companies: Lime Bike, which is green, Ofo, yellow, and Spin, which is orange. Today's guest is Paul Basha, Director of Transportation for the City of Scottsdale, and he's going to tell us about the impact of the bike share businesses on the traffic and citizens of Scottsdale. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Thank you, Deanne. Good to be here.
First of all, tell us about the impact of the bike share businesses on the traffic patterns.
Well, first off, I'm glad you used the word businesses because in Scottsdale, they are private companies. They operate in the city. There's no financial impact, or let me try again. There's no financial involvement from the city with the companies and no liability or legal relationship with the businesses. They're just operating in Scottsdale.
And they don't need permission, they just need a business license.
Correct, just a business license.
So tell me about the customer use. How has that been for Scottsdale? It's not been very many months.
It's been very good. It's been about 6 months. There's been over 245,000 separate rides.
Wow.
And that's important to understand because the businesses in Scottsdale, the first 2 months of service, in November and December, in those same 2 months, Scottsdale had 110,000 riders, where the total of the companies in Phoenix, Tempe, and Mesa that are city-sponsored programs had a ridership of 45,000.
Big difference.
A big difference. The Scottsdale private businesses have been very successful, especially compared to the city-sponsored programs in the other three cities combined.
Was there a one-day high?
There was. The highest ridership day was approximately 4,000 riders, and that was the day of the Rock and Roll Marathon here in Scottsdale, Phoenix, and Tempe.
So the merchants are happy with this?
Many of the merchants are happy because the tourists and visitors can see more of the city in the same amount of time if they're on a bicycle compared to if they're walking. Though I should tell you that the bike share companies are telling us that 60 to 80% of the bicycle users are Scottsdale residents.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all. That's fantastic. 20 to 40% are tourists.
Staycation and buy local, right?
Correct, correct.
That sounds terrific. Well, I want our viewers to see a little bit about what this bike business looks like. So we're going to take a look at a video right now that shows an example of the bikes. Okay, let's roll that video. Okay, this is one of the green bikes, this is one of the yellow bikes, and this is Spin, which is an orange bike, which I think is not operating anymore in Scottsdale. Now here's a potential rider who's using his app on his phone to unlock the bike, and then he can ride around anywhere he wants. It's $1 an hour, I believe. And then he has to find a place to leave that bike when he's done. He doesn't have to take it back to where he started. He can park it anywhere in a bike rack or a place where it's safe and just lock it up and turn that app off, and he's good to go. It's pretty simple. I can see why it would be so popular. I'm a bicyclist myself, and I noticed that the bike rider there wasn't wearing any helmet. Does that make a difference?
We would prefer that bicycle users wear helmets, but there is no state law or city ordinance requiring helmet use for bicyclists.
And what about biking etiquette? How do bicyclists who've maybe not ridden bikes before know the rules for bicyclists and traffic?
With both Lime Bike and Ofo, for a user to use the bicycle, better said a customer to use a bike share bicycle, they do have to read the state laws and city ordinances and the bike share company's protocol and policies for bicycle etiquette and bicycle use.
So that's part of the deal. When they sign on to the app, they get some education about proper biking rules and regulations, correct?
Correct. And you have to verify that you are over the age of 18 to use the bicycle as well.
Now I know, and there's a slight negative aspect to this, in that there's been some vandalism to the dockless nature of the bikes, like bikes found in canals and in a tree and in a jungle gym. What do you attribute that to? Is somebody just not happy with this company in town here?
Our speculation and the speculation of the bike share companies is that people who are angry with the bike share companies are responsible for the vandalism. though both companies have informed us that the vandalism and the damage in Scottsdale is much less than in other cities throughout North America.
Well, it's nice to know that it's very well received in the Scottsdale area since it's been so enriching to tourists and locals alike. What modifications in these business would you like to see, if any? Is there anything you'd like to change about it?
The bike share companies have been very good at locating bicycles that are in neighborhoods for too long or outside commercial areas and bringing those bicycles back to the active areas.
I see.
And there's always room for improvement with that. Rebalancing is what the bike share companies call that.
Does Scottsdale have any plans to create new bike lanes to accommodate these new companies?
We don't have any specific plans to accommodate these bike share companies, but for decades, Scottsdale has prided itself on providing good bicycle facilities, which include bike racks and bike lanes and shared use paths, paths along the canals and in Indian Bend Wash, and also bike routes with signing. We have ongoing programs to improve all of those facilities. We have approximately $250,000 to $350,000 each year, in addition to specific larger dollar projects that are included in our capital improvement program.
Well, with increased bike usage and bike lanes, that also helps reduce pollution, reduce traffic. I don't know why anybody would want to be vandalizing these lovely transportation modes. And lastly, I know that Uber has mentioned something about getting into the bike share game. How do you see that playing out?
Several companies have approached Scottsdale and expressed interest in operating their bike share businesses in Scottsdale. Only the first two, only Lime Bike and OFO, are still operating in Scottsdale, and the other companies have not decided to arrive yet. We have not directly heard from Uber regarding bike share.
Well, you have all this information, and I'm so thankful that you could bring it to our viewers today. It sounds like it's a wonderful program and a very positive impact on the city of Scottsdale with both traffic and bicyclists. So thank you.
You're welcome.
It's been a pleasure to have the Scottsdale Transportation Director, Paul Basha, on the show today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Saguaro Spotlight. I'm your host, Deanne Kincaid. Thank you for watching. So this is